And so, yeah, so it was actually, I don't know if you know Johnny's son, but he's also an incredible writer and um, funny guy, an incredibly brilliant person who is multi-talented. He arranged this whole panel and brought us out to speak on that. Yeah, it was really fun.
What was I was just curious because that seems like a great coping mechanism, but what's the message behind it? Like, what were you saying?
Yeah, we were talking a lot about comedy as a tool to reach people. There's a fantastic TED talk that I will sort of paraphrase in like 2 sentences, but encourage people to look up. But it is about the way that humor kind of gets our guards down. And that when you're telling a joke, like the whole point of many jokes is to sort of twist you out of what you're expecting. And it lowers your guard. And when you get to that place, when you lower that guard, you have this brief, tiny little moment window of opportunity to actually reach someone who otherwise had totally made up their mind. Like they knew what they believe. They're not going to change. You can't have a conversation. Like it's just, they just want to butt heads with you. But when you actually are doing it in some way that makes them laugh, there's just a moment where you can kind of potentially reach them. And I think that's utterly fascinating. And so that's what a lot of what we were discussing was sort of ways to disarm with humor and to allow humor to start a conversation or to kind of reach someone who might otherwise not be interested and not be reachable.
You know, that makes me think a lot about imagine how differently, you know, the Senate and the House floor would be, how much of a different place if, you know, representatives during their statements and debates actually, instead of having these long drawn out soliloquies about why they are right and why they are the champions of the people, if they actually use these tools of humor to try and maybe reach the people on the other side of the aisle a little bit more, if there might be a little bit more bipartisanship and maybe coming together of ideas and peoples. I think that'd be a really interesting place to live, or maybe just a funny bit on the Colbert Report one day, or not that show's on anymore, but you know, pretending. Like I think that would be hilarious.
I feel like if you go and watch a British Congress room or whatever Parliament room at any time, you would get kind of what that would develop into, because they're all just about like fights. Poetry. It's crazy. It's like slam poetry with like crowds in the background. Have you seen Cheek? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I seldom watch sessions of Parliament in my free time.
Well, let me tell you, it's honestly flabbergasting, because it's these. I'm probably explaining it completely wrong, but basically there's the representative standing up there doing slam poetry on the opposite side, while everyone on his side is sitting in bleachers behind him and like laughing and hooting and hollering and like accentuating the points with like jeers and things like that. So it's I don't know. It's really shocking to watch for the first time. It kind of is. I don't know if it's any more effective than what we have, because both ways are just very polarized, and like, I don't know, if I was on the opposite side of an argument and someone was yelling at me and screaming at me, it would probably just lock me in my boots of what my ideas were. But back to the summit. What was the message for like the layperson just sitting in the audience? What, like, I know, because not everyone, including us, are as funny as you. So what would I take away from that if I were to try to apply that in my daily life? Because if I tried to do that, people would be like, shut up.
Well, no, I think it's the, you know, we do get into these really serious topics a lot. And especially when you feel very passionately about them and you think, you know, this is something that really matters to me and it's very important. Sometimes there is a tendency to like shut down the humor because you don't want to undermine the seriousness of it. And so I think the takeaway would really just be, it's okay to lean into the humor that can actually benefit the whole, the point that you want to make. And it's not necessarily something that is detracting or getting in the way, but actually can be something that can open the door to others. So, you know, don't be afraid to make a joke. It's okay. That would be the takeaway, I'd say.
you see good comedians who aren't just basing their act off of being offensive, but you see good comedians who can basically make fun of one side, but then right afterwards undermine their own opinion. So like you said, it twists their mentality on the thing. And for, like you said, a glimpse, you're all of a sudden like, what I'm doing a little backwards? It just makes you like kind of undermine your own thinking. And I can't think, do you have people in mind that do that really well?